Hello, everyone. It's Nikki Batgirl D'Angelo here again with Sandy Gardner for another Ask Sandy. Hi, Sandy. How you
Hey,
doing?
hey, how are you, Nikki? Nice to
Good.
see you again. It's
Nice
been
to,
a while.
yeah, nice to see you. Sorry, I'm like jumping at it because it's like 11 o'clock here.
I know it's 8 o'clock here. So
Yeah, well, yeah, I miss California time. It's always so much nicer over there on the West Coast. Things go always a little bit slower. At least it seems that way for an East Coast person.
well, that's true. That's how I feel about Hawaii or something. So
Yeah. What about back home in Australia?
what about back home? Well, that's kind of unusual because they're a day ahead. So it's kind of a very weird. It's very hard to get the timing right all the time.
You got a lot of fans out there in Australia wondering if you guys are ever going to come back there. Is that going to happen?
We would love to come back. I mean, it's just a question of when. It always runs tight. I mean, the PAX Australia always runs tight with CitizenCon. So, and it's such a long way to fly
Yeah.
that it makes it hard. I don't know if they ever have an event that's in the first half of the year, but it always feels like we back up that last half of the year once Gamescom starts, and then there's DragonCon, and then there's CitizenCon, and then there's our anniversary live stream, and it's Christmas. So it's like,
Isn't PAX Prime right around that time too?
yeah, that too. Yeah.
So it's like you have to like send people in all different directions.
Right, exactly.
It's like, does anything actually get done when you go into all these conventions?
Well, that's the thing. We need to start. We were very ambitious. I think it was last year. We were quite ambitious on the event schedule, and it's hard to have bandwidth for all the things at once. So pretty much this year it's Gamescom and CitizenCon are like the big tent poles.
Right. I can't wait to be out there. I'm definitely coming for CitizenCon this year. But in Gamescom, you have something different planned there this year. Are you working with Intel or somebody else?
Yep, Intel are sponsoring us. We are in the ESL hall. So I actually have to talk to those guys. Thanks for reminding me. I know
Get
that was somewhere.
get your pen and paper out, write it down.
Yeah,
Tell Siri to remind you.
I know. I will remember that. So we're in their hall. We have a really nice booth planned, and then we're basically doing a series of pop-up parties. So hopefully within that, every one that we have, that everybody can kind of get to see us, because pretty much all of the team will go there after the show. So
That's good.
kind of, yeah.
It's a big deal that Intel's hosting you then, right? Because they're a big company. I mean, they could host so many other game companies.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice because it's nice to be partnered with them. We get a nice booth and nice parts for all the PCs.
So is Chris going to have one of his big speeches somehow, maybe in a bar with a beer mug in his hand? I mean,
Yeah, we'll see how we do that. I don't know. I don't know if we did that last year at the beer garden. That was quite fun. We kind of do that every year, and hopefully this year again. So we'll see what we can do. I mean, the press. We're just kind of going bigger on the press and the booth, which is a nice thing, I think, for the
okay.
fans to. Where we got really good reception from not just existing fans, but new people. And it was such a small booth. I mean, it was basically a throw-in with the press booth. So this year it's an actual nice booth that, you know.
And hopefully there'll be some good demo material on the machines in the booth for people to take a look at and play.
Yeah, exactly. And we've got a couple streamers that will be streaming 24/7.
Oh,
So
awesome.
hopefully that will stream 24/7 onto our website.
That would be awesome. Good job.
Yeah, so that's what the plan is.
So,
Yeah, so we should be able to make that happen because we're in the ESL hall. So if we can't make, streaming happen, we're in trouble.
okay. So, did Chris have any comments on Brexit?
It was quite a depressing week in this house. And then England also lost the soccer to Iceland.
Oh
So
God, yeah. We
yeah,
we both live with people from Britain, so
yeah. So there was a lot of you know
yeah.
yeah. And then I I have a couple of English friends who live down the street here, and they were like sending me emails, just kind of rubbing it in on the on the soccer part.
No,
They
God.
so whatever.
Yeah. Iceland. Man, I think the country has barely 400,000 people, maybe a
I
little
think
bit more.
I heard all that
Yeah.
this past couple of days.
Well, at least they didn't have to like hang on until the end and then get beat by Spain or Italy or Germany or someone, you know.
That's true. Just
Yeah.
go out with a bang.
Yeah, go out with a big bang. People are getting kind of excited about the HoDs. There's a couple of questions about it, and there always is when you and I get together. And I know in the beginning there was a bunch of lawyer type stuff that had to be taken care of, and now it seems like production is being held up by design. Can you give us like some kind of an update on where we are at with the HoDs?
I mean, I think it's where we did the QA testing, we gave our feedback, and so unless it's at the quality that everybody signs off on, we won't be, so it's
Yeah.
fine. But it's just one of those things where I don't have extra information on it at the moment in terms of when are we going to get it. But we've certainly put in our feedback, and
Has Chris been able to spend time with it? I know that his standards are like the ceiling, so
I'm pretty sure he did because they arrived in the UK and he was there, and everybody was testing it. I mean, I was with it briefly my last trip. So,
okay. And this is still the lower priced one, right?
yes, correct.
Okay, cool. So at this point, we don't know what it's going to be based on. We just know that it's been QA tested, and right now you've given your input, and SATEC has to go back and do whatever they have to do to present you a product that meets those corrections, whatever they might be.
I mean, it wasn't, I don't think we're talking about gross issues, but it's, enough that we want it a certain way.
Okay.
For fans and specific to Star Citizen. So,
All right. Let's
so
take.
I wish I had more exciting.
Well, the game's not done, and people are looking for every little piece of something that they could get their hands on to show how much they love the game. So
Right.
a HoDs is important, and of course there's going to be some other questions about merchandise, and we'll get to them. But first, let's go to Twitter, and let's ask CJ Stan's question. And it's the one that you and I talked about 2 seconds, before we started this. Outside of Earth, if you could be born and raised on one of the planets or stations in Star Citizen, which would it be and why?
Well, we did talk about Nyx, which, Pirating Queen definitely sounds like fun. And where I'm from with Pusher is kind of fun. I mean, I can't really talk about her too much. But yeah, probably Nyx, and that's going to come out with Stanton, so that's kind of an exciting, as Stanton kind of grows,
Yeah.
kind of a fun, cool thing.
Yeah, I'm excited about the next few months of development. So I think it's like between now and CitizenCon, we should be seeing a lot of stuff hit the game, so we can have more things to do as it develops out. It's gonna be fun. I know that there are people that want more merchandise. Can you give us an update on like maybe shirts, hoodies, or whatever else you might have coming our way as far as merchandise goes?
We have another polo shirt that's coming on Thursday. It's kind of, like for business casual people, because quite a few people were asking for another polo shirt. It's like in a light grayish kind of color. With a little white logo. You'll see it. Chris is wearing it anyway. And then we have a Squadron 42 hoodie, which is almost done and ready. That's like a kind of a dark greenish color with the Squadron 42 logo on the chest. What else do we have?
Is the logo in yellow or brown or?
It's the yellow and green. Yeah.
Good.
So it looks pretty cool. And same kind of quality of fabric that the redacted ones had, which was quite nice. I actually used to wear that quite a lot in the winter. Um, what else do we have? We've got the Big Benny's t-shirts coming next month for fun. You know, there's not a very big run of those, but it's fun. And then I want to get back both a Squadron 42 and a Star Citizen t-shirt, just kind of as a staple to have there, because we've just always, you know, we've been selling that limited run, but it would be nice to have a couple of staple things that are just kind of there so that people can, you know, get them as gifts or whatever you want to do, because we kind of have very limited supply of things otherwise, and things like shirts and stuff are easy to ship from China until we get that overseas warehousing thing really flowing smoothly, which we're working on. So
Their sizing just doesn't match sometimes.
yeah, I mean the polo shirts, like, because we usually do a large sample. For Chris, the large seemed to be fine. We made them a little longer because the polo shirts, you know, people complain they're a little short.
Very.
Yeah, which they were kind of short. But then I also think you have to wash them like in cold, and there's certain, because I think everybody does it, right? You just throw them in the wash, and then you're like, this just came out 2 sizes smaller.
It's like a Barbie doll shirt now.
I know, yeah. They need to put like a proper, make it a little bigger, like, please wash like this kind of thing. So, yeah, and so with the overseas warehousing, I want to look at other things that we can get that are on the art side and the toy side and things like that, because they're breakable things, and you don't want them. Like the Constellation models, we had some issues, so.
Not mine. I love it. It's up on my desk. Wonderful.
Yeah.
The coffee cups you sent me, though, those came with chips.
Did they?
Well,
From LA?
they were that was a long time ago, like 2 years ago. Yeah. It's okay, though. I just turned it a different way.
Right.
They
Well,
need
that's
it.
the thing, see, the coffee cups and all that needs to come locally.
Yeah.
So
That's tough.
we're getting there on that overseas warehousing stuff.
Okay. So you also have the boxed versions of Squadron 42 eventually, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, I'm working on the Constellation boxes right now. So, the box, the CDs, the blueprints, the USB. So all of those things are in process.
Star Map,
Star Map's done, and those
shipping soon.
Yeah, aside from the overseas warehousing ones, which is the US, Europe, Australia, New Zealand, everything else is going to start shipping next week. Because with overseas warehousing, we're waiting to actually distribute them to the overseas warehouse, and they'll go locally. But all the ones that aren't in those countries will start shipping next week from China.
So the ones that aren't in the US, Europe, and
Australia and New Zealand.
so those aren't going to ship. Everywhere else will.
Correct.
What else is left?
About 60 other countries or whatever.
I know. Asia.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Asia, Middle East, Africa. Yeah, okay.
Canada.
Canada's? Oh, okay.
It's interesting that shipping, it's so complicated and kind of tedious, but shipping into Canada from America isn't that cheap.
I guess it's the... Well, how is the drop in the pound affected ship sales?
That's a good question. I don't know, because I don't know how many people are not under the currency lock to buy, outside the U.S. and Euro. I guess all the Australians could buy in the pound. All the Asian community, Russia,
I know that my roommate just tried to buy something from Marks and Spencer, and she wasn't allowed to buy it from the UK store. She had to buy it from the US store because of the pound. That's tough.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought I'd, make my way over there and do a bunch of shopping before they change all the prices. But
That would be good. Manchester might need you next week.
I know, right?
Get yourself some nice stuff. Come home.
I know, exactly.
The duty will be like huge on it, though. But
That's true.
yeah. All right. So let's go to some other questions. I always like talking to you. We have, as director of marketing, you must have read all the comments on, you and I deal with this. It's all the comments on the game that you can find. How difficult is it to read the many negative comments about Chris, yourself, and even Ben? And this also says, P.S. You're awesome. Awesome.
Well, that's nice. Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't, I don't know if I honestly read that many negative comments. I mean, they kind of creep up everywhere and stuff, but it's, maybe I've grown a thick skin over the time, but it's just kind of, I feel like my family and everything, like I'm very happy in my own life, so it's kind of like I don't, negative things. And, same with Chris. If I see things about Chris or Ben, I'm kind of like, well, I know those things aren't true. And I mean, I don't know if Ben maybe takes it. I can't speak for him, so I don't know. I know Chris is certainly too busy to be reading negative comments. But, last year took me by surprise. But this year, what can you say? It's like, where can you go from there? It's like, oh, what have I've got 3 eyes, or I don't know, or you hate me, you hate the game. I don't know.
People like to say a lot of things when they can be anonymous.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's, saying it to my face is one thing, but then I would kind of like, even if you said it to my face, I'm not particularly bothered by that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think people like the doom, like to push that because it's drama and it gives them something to write about and something for people to come to their websites or their posts about. When I visit CIG, both times I went, and I'm sure when I go again in October, every time I go, all I see is a bunch of people that have like a driving passion for the game. So I could see there's a lot more positive stuff than negative stuff. So I don't even listen anymore. In fact, I like to play with it sometimes. Just to stir the pot.
Like game development's just not fast. Would I like it to be faster? Of course. But I can't make it any faster than it is, and you can't push when you're like doing R&D at the same time as you're you're doing tech, you're doing there's a lot of moving parts to a game, so it's kind of, you just do your best and be as efficient as you can in what you're doing. I mean, we're doing something that's very ambitious and like has a really big vision. So it's like, it kind of is what it is.
Yeah. I wish Chris was here for one of the other questions, because I know that, when you look at, AAA titles these days, $100 million is not out of the norm. And a lot of them come out and they're just horrible because they don't have that same drive for excellence that I see that CIG has. But eventually the game comes out and it has to keep going forward. What are you going to do to keep driving revenue, to keep people employed, keep new parts of the game coming out? What kind of plans? Do you have them on the board already, or are you still thinking about that as being a little bit further down the road?
I mean, we definitely have plans for further revenue, of course. The game obviously always expands and continues. It doesn't center around, I mean, it seems to, you see the comments, oh, it's just all about ship sales, which it kind of appears to be that, which it really isn't. But, sometimes when game development is slow, and so we make our plans, it's like, well, that's what happens in that moment. But once all of that is in there and you've got your main game going, we've got quite a lot more to do after that that will bring in revenue. I mean, playing the game, certainly a lot more new people than we have. I mean, there's millions of people who just don't want to be in a pre-alpha stage. They don't want a game that's, you know.
Yeah, not done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, you get a lot of the negativity from that because they're not into the experience of that at all. Fair enough. That's fine. You know, each to his own, kind of.
Did I hear something at your house?
It could be one of my children shouting.
I thought they were shrieking. I was like, "Wow, what's going on?" I thought my children were going to be the ones coming in here shrieking, but you know. Downstairs. I trust that this game is going to go on and that the revenue stream. I don't see why it's so bad to sell ships. You turned off your sound.
I know, yeah, because I'm shouting at one of my children.
I don't see selling ships as such a bad thing. If people want them, you give them what they want, right?
No, I mean we have 37 flyable ships. It's
right.
You know, it's cool. It's fun. You want a full population of, you know, things to do. So ships at the moment is one of the things, and as missions come along, and there's more and more mission. You know, there's more careers that you can have. Like those are things that that's gets me kind of going. I'm into doing all the things, and I'm sure plenty of other people are the same. You know, I mean, if I wasn't involved in the project, I probably would be. I mean, I'm not really a negative kind of person. I kind of don't believe in doing that. It's either you have something nice to say or just don't bother. Like there's too many things that are out of your control in the world that are negative. So that's not my thing. But if I wasn't involved in this game, I probably would either have bought a pledge and just be kind of waiting on the sidelines, or I'd just be kind of watching like the development and kind of enjoying that.
I like watching the development.
I'm one of the millions who don't do pre like alpha. I mean, I've crowdfunded other games, but it's just the actual frustration for me is like the bugs and stuff.
Did you help crowdfund David Ladyman's board game?
I did, yeah.
Awesome.
I did.
So let's talk about something that you and I talked about in your first interview with me. Back in college, you used to play Doom. Doom came out again. Did you?
I haven't gone anywhere. No. The only thing that I've played in the past couple of months is Uncharted 4.
Oh, so you do have a PS4 in the house.
Well, it's at the office.
Oh, do you not have any consoles? Or you probably have no electronics in the house except for the iPhones.
No, we do have a lot of electronics in the house.
Okay, cool.
But
do you have an Xbox or a PS4?
We've got all of them. But what was it? Metal Gear Solid 5.
Okay.
Was the last one I played here at home. That was probably maybe 6 months ago now.
But Doom was the one that you were obsessed with back in college?
Back in the day. Yeah, but I had so much time and I didn't want to do my thesis. I'm not in the same situation anymore. It's like, you know, between my family and Chris and work and my acting, it's like...
Yeah, that was the second question before we go. It was going to be about your acting.
Well, it's like when I have a spare like moment or week which I really don't, but I book something that kind of shoots on the weekend, and that's kind of all I've like got time for at the moment. But it's fun. I've played some fun roles. I did a really fun role on this movie called American Satan. I don't know when it's coming out, but that was really fun. I played this religious mom. It's cool. I know, right? Yeah, it's cool.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I expected to see you around Georgia more. Netflix started buying up like different properties around here to shoot some of their new TV shows. They just bought one of my favorite, well, not anymore, but a place I used to go eat all the Well, folks, she is taking care of the children.
I know. I'm just honestly.
Are they trying not to go to sleep?
Yeah, totally.
Just tell them to sit on the couch and hide down.
I'm just like. And my day started so early this morning. It's just nutty.
Is it going to start early again tomorrow?
Yes. I mean, the thing, I do like the US for like basically when I finish my day, even though I've got about 60 or so emails to deal with, the UK's gone to bed. Whereas when you're in the UK, you wake up in the morning, you're dealing with all the European emails, and then you're like, because for a split second, you're like, because you get through your emails. And then the US wakes up, and it just goes all pear-shaped because it's 2 a.m. and you're like, because you're just behind. So.
Well, it's good to be on the West Coast because when you're on the East Coast, it's like you're right smack in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get it from both ends. Yeah. All right. Well, I think I'm going to let you take care of your children.
I know, right? They're going, Mommy!
Well, it's okay. We kept you for a little bit longer than I wanted to tonight anyway. It's always fun. I can't wait to see you in October. Are you going to wait, you're going to be here for DragonCon?
I hope so. We haven't heard anything from them, so I don't know. Maybe they just didn't want us this year. I don't know. I don't know what happened.
I never got any info to go and beat somebody up.
It'd be kind of a bit of a bummer. I know they invited us, and then I don't quite know.
You asked for a bigger venue, didn't you?
No, I think we're just doing like a panel and a little bit more of a presence, but I don't quite know. And then we also,
we turned away around 80 people the last time, maybe a little bit more.
It's really busy.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we've been focusing on Gamescom, and so maybe, we may have missed something. I'll have to double check.
It's possible, because it's in about 6 weeks.
Yeah, and Gamescom is like the 17th to the 21st, and then the community team aren't back until the September 5th, which is the weekend of DragonCon.
Right.
So they're not been focusing on it, because after Gamescom they go to Frankfurt, and then to the UK, because I'm starting to, as the subscriber number has increased, which it has, that allows us to do a little bit more filming. So I'd like to replicate a little bit of what we have here in LA to Austin and Germany and the UK, so we can actually see more of what those guys do.
Oh, awesome. That would be wonderful.
Yeah, because it's hard when it's just having a team here, because you're right by the people, and so you can get better everything basically. Better interviews, better video footage because you're right there. So you want to get more of and I just asked Brian Chambers if maybe we could do some German kind of RTVs, that kind of thing, once a month. But it'd be fun to start having introduce a new language for different subsets of fans and stuff.
You mean everyone's not supposed to speak English?
Just it'd be great to do all of them. It'd be great if somehow the fans could kind of just help translating all the stuff. Yeah,
that would be good.
I'm sure they would, because I'm sure it's a struggle for some people too.
I'm sure. It's like arrogant Americans think everybody speaks English. As long as you speak it slow enough.
Right, which they don't. I mean, English is easier because everything's kind of in English in terms of a lot of television, a lot of media, but still, if you're from, all the places in the world that Star Citizen is, there's plenty of non-English speakers.
I'm sure you'll get a lot of people that would want to help you translate some of that stuff, but having it done in English for the German subscribers would be awesome. That would be awesome.
Yeah. So,
and I'm sad because one of my favorite people there isn't going to be around anymore. Darian. Yeah, that was it. I think it's his last week this week. Yeah. Was he on ATV this week? Do you know?
I don't think he was on ATV this week because we just did like a special this week. So I don't think he was on ATV this week. I think he sent out some message to fans and everything.
He did. He posted in one of the groups I'm part of. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to cut you before we hear a couple more mommies.
I
And so
know.
I could go downstairs and figure out why my house just shook.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Well, two big football player, 15-year-old boys.
Oh, I was okay. I thought I see from LA. You just think that's an earthquake, but okay.
We get one every 100 years. That's all.
So it's not that.
It's not that. No, Atlanta, there is a fault in Atlanta, and maybe you'll get a 4, which like a 4 is like nobody feels it in LA, right?
Yeah. No.
Yeah. That's it. That's all we got. All right. Well,
All right. We'll see you later.
thank you.
Thanks anytime. Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye-bye, hon.